I think I'll be standing a bit back to you because somehow duplicated screens doesn't work, so I will have to look at the screen on the top. So just to start up, I'm just wondering to the standard questions because you change rooms. How many of you used Grant in your life? Yeah, that's quite a good amount. And Gulp? Bit less, but you're starting with. So I will please you with some Grant code, for sure. And the second question, who of you used icons in PNG to have transparency? Okay, you are some. And did you ever use some icons in a vector format like SVG? Yeah, cool. Okay, my aim today is to tell you how to manage those icons easily with some scripts. And the plan is we will identify what is the problem, and I'll introduce you the concept that I worked on. I will show you an example, and then you will be ready to go and improve your code to implement this management system. So I'm Kamil from Wikia. I'm community engineer there. I'm mainly PHP and JavaScript developer. Recently I discovered power of Python, which I really recommend you. And my heart is always divided between coding and designing, which I'm not the best, but probably most of you like looking at great design, so I really admire it and trying my skills at it. And I recently happened to be the main developer of careers page for Wikia, so mainly that's the reason why I'm standing here in front of you. So the easiest example, problem with PNGs that you're probably aware of is when you enlarge your icon, it may get blurry. So I think you're quite convinced to use SVGs. You can use it as regular images included in the HTML code, but it creates many requests. We don't want to have many requests for small files. So you're probably aware of a concept of sprites, but for me it's kind of uncomfortable to use it because you load this huge sprite, you position your div to show only one icon, but what if you want to rescale it or something like that? I think we can go better with that, and Grant is here to help us. So what is the concept? Basically, you will have your icons from, for instance, Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, from your designer, and the concept is to just put it to a raw directory in your project, then run your Grant scripts, and we are aiming for having just CSS classes that we can easily use within our HTML code. And now with more details, how this workflow with Grant will do. It will take all our icons from raw directory, parse it with SVG min Grant task, which compress it, so you don't have to pay attention how large is your SVG file and whether designer did it right. Mainly Illustrator returns quite of big files. You can compress it there. Compressed icons goes to the compressed directory. Then Grant icon script is run, and it generates CSS classes. I will show you in a second, to the output folder when we can use it. And now I think I show you some code. This is the small project example that I prepared. I finished yesterday just for you. It basically looks like that. So it's one piece of talk from meet.js conference. And as you can see, there are no icons. How much you will think how many icons should we put there to be more like good looking or semantic? 5. Who would say less than 5? Like raise your hand. Who would put more? Okay, we'll see in a second. So this is the code. It consists basically of simple HTML file and some assets, CSS, fonts, and here comes our SVG directory. Right now it consists only of raw directory that I showed you, and it contains some prepared icons that I put it there before. I hope you can imagine this is arrow right, and I think to see it in action. Oh, I'll show you. There's also one important piece of this project. It's a grunt file that will do the stuff for us. It has few grunt scripts, which most important are SVG min and grunt icon that I mentioned before. So let's run the grunt. So it compiles our icons like I showed you before, and it told that it's saved in compression 6 kilobytes, and it's still preparing some PNG fallbacks, I think, and we'll be ready in a second. Yeah, CSS file is created, so we can see now the result. It's like this. So there are 9 icons. I made it, maybe it's too much, but to show the concept, I put it as many icons I could. So if you know how this looks like, I will show you the result. So here's the compressed directory with the compressed icons. And the output directory where there is most important file for us, which is a CSS file. It previously was CSS file, but I renamed it for SCSS to use it in SAS. And it consists of icons embedded in classes. So like whole code of icon is showed embedded in the code in base64 format. So you have all those codes here, and the selector consists of constant phrase icon, then name of the file, and the color. I will show you in a moment how to define a list of colors. So if you have this CSS file, you know how this looks like. Oh, and those colors, like it's for the arrow left, you have bright green and you have brand dark. Those are predefined colors. You will say, what the fuck? It looks like you're duplicating a code here. And I am, because each icon is pasted so many times as you have those number of colors. But you don't really have to bother with that, because it's not a huge problem. If you're sending a gzipped version to the browser, it's compressed, and I will show you how much you can save. It's not a big pain for that to have it. So how is it configured? More about grunt file configuration, because probably you're wondering how those SVG min and grunt icon works. So SVG mean is here. It basically says that took all icons from row directory and put it to compressed. And somewhere above I have grant icon that takes from compressed and puts to output. And one part is important for you probably. It's list of colors. You can add your colors here by defining a name of it and the hex color, which goes to the result CSS file. And maybe, yeah, you can see that I have this share icons section here, and I'm using share icon, Facebook, Twitter. That's pretty much it. So yeah, here's the link for the code on GitHub, and to refresh from the previous slide. If you have 10 requests to server with those list of image embeds in the HTML using image tag, EMG tag, you have your icons. You can have your icons at size 5.7 kilobytes, and gzipped version saves only 4.4 kilobytes. Not safe, but is finally. So you don't save much. You cannot gain much compression on compressing separate files. And one CSS file is larger, but after compression it's small. And I think now we can add new icon to show you how easy it is. So let's assume we want to add those LinkedIn icon that I have there before. Basically, if you want to add there one more icon, you just put in the row directory, recompile the project with grant, and you can use it right away. So I used for the second time this line and just rechange it to LinkedIn. PHP Storm detects it together with colors if you want a different color. And just LinkedIn, yeah, it's there. It should be already here. Yeah, one more icon there. So we have 10 icons now. And maybe you want to see how much control over size and how we show the icon we have. We will change this Wikia text for the Wikia logo, which I also have here. So I have our Wikia word wrapped in span that has a class. So let's add some styles for that class. How many of you ever use Last or Sass? Yeah, that's good. So I won't be going into the details how this works. You know you can embed and stuff like that. We'll add Wikia logo class. And what we need here is the icon. In Sass you can just extend the icon class icon Wikia. And it's there. I'll add grant watch to recompile my Sass in the background. So each time I save this file, it recompiles to the output CSS. And I want to, maybe I'll show you the result. So we have together now both Wikia logo and Wikia text. I have this class near this one, and we can hide the text. text hide, and it will disappear. A few more. Oh, it doesn't work. But I'll add. We don't have width of it, so I'll add like with 100%. No, 80 pixels, for instance. Display block. And let's see it now. It recompiled. Okay, and it's not looking good still. It's because we want to have it 80 pixels wide, and the icon itself is wider. So we can easily define background size to contain, and to have the icon centered, let's say background position 50%, 50%. And what will happen now? Yeah, it's there. Let's see what happens if I remove display block. Yeah, okay, so let's leave it. Okay, we have a logo instead of text, and we can always go for improvements. So, as you saw with Wikia logo, we can also control hover states. Let's say we want to have this Facebook icon be hovered with a different color, right? So what we should do to that is make sure we have this color here that we want to use it, like brand bright green. I can add one more color if you'd like to. It's like, let's call it red color. It would be awesome, I think. It's red, right? Yeah, and a comma. Now we should recompile it. So let's say grant to recompile it. It will create again all icons, and once it finishes, in the meanwhile I'll probably rechange this class because it includes Facebook icon in it. I'll remove it, rechange it to just Facebook, and our app CSS I'll in our social share icons section. Oh, I have it here already. So I forgot to take it back. So it basically, like Facebook extends the icon, and on the hover extends the other color. We can change it to red as we added before, because probably the script, is recompiling is done, and it hasn't recalculated the changes in the tree. So red color was there, right? I think. And grant watch, of course. Grant SAS would work as well, but it for only one time. Okay, here comes the hard part. I run into errors that I didn't want it to be there. Let's say we will stay with bright green, that we have had this color before. I think we... Okay, it passed. Yeah, and a Hoover is there. I don't want to lose your time, so we will stay with green. It's even better than red, I think. With CSS file that has one color defined in a grant file, we have a result CSS file that has 10 kilobytes. After compression, it has 3.4 kilobytes. If we extend number of colors to, let's say, 12 in this example, I believe was, result file is 162 kilobytes. That's quite big, but after compression, it is 5.8, so it's not that scary. And to sum up some cons and pros of the solution, it's of course predefined set of colors. You cannot let users to add their own CSS and change the colors, but if you're fine with that, you can go for that solution. It needs compilation, but most of you use Grant already, so shouldn't be a problem. It's kind of effective management, and for me it's very comfortable use. Just put the name of the class and use the background tags to just change the size and how it is positioned on the website. For Sass, you can use add expand. For less, you can use less mixins or stuff like that to embed icons to modify the look. It has built-in compression in Grant. It's always sharp, and it all happens in one request. So now I think you're ready to go and improve your code. Thank you.